Hello neighbor, Alicia Dolan here at Creating in My Corner. I'm a independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I am coming to you live with a free Sundays stamping card class. Tonight we are going to feature the Right Words stamp set. I apologize, I'm a few minutes late. I updated my software earlier this afternoon to try and get ahead of the curve and have everything ready, but there were some unexpected changes. But we are live now. I just wanted to wait a minute and see if anyone joined us. Hello, Kim. It's good to see you. All right, we are going to get right to our class tonight. So if you have any questions, you can ask them. So far, I can see comments, which is pretty cool. I'm going to switch to my other camera. And, oh, it's a little bit crooked. Oh, hold on. Let's see if I can fix that. Maybe, maybe not. I thought I had everything all set, but maybe not. Okay. I think that will work. All right, so here we go. I have 3 cards to make with you tonight. We are going to use this beautiful paper called Beautiful Gallery. I keep forgetting if it's Gallery Blooms or Beautiful Gallery, but it's called Beautiful Gallery. So we're going to use some of this and some of the most recent new colors, some Secret Sea and Cloud Cover, and some other of my favorite colors, my current favorite colors. So our first card I actually made live at my in-person class, and we are going to make it again here. I'm trying to get everything over as far as I can so you can see. So this is going to be our first card made with Cloud Cover and Secret Sea and just a little bit of white here. So I just wanted to tell you about this stamp set. This is a really great stamp set. There's a lot of fabulous stamps on here, and I will post this in an email when I'm done. If you're on my email list, I'll be sending out a link with the instructions and some pictures, and maybe some pictures of cards that are optional, but I'm not sure about that yet. So our first card, we're going to need some Cloud Cover cardstock, and that's this kind of blue-gray color. It's fairly new. It's one of our in colors. So we're going to cut our piece 5.5 by 8.5. And then I'm going to score mine at 4 1/4. You don't have to do this. You can skip this step and simply fold your cardstock in half if you want to. I just like that the score mark gives it a little nicer crease. Okay, so we are going to take this one, fold it in half. Okay, and then we can press that with our bone folder just to make sure it's folded well. Now we're going to cut another piece that is 4 by 5 1/4, and that's going to be for our a little embossed layer on the front. So I'm actually going to cut the 5 1/4 first, just because I like cutting my paper this way a little better. And then I'm going to turn it to the side and cut it at 4. And I'm going to emboss this layer using our exposed brick 3D folder. So if you haven't watched an embossing video, it's pretty cool. If you need some help with that, I can definitely help you. So we just put our paper inside there, and there is a line along the front. So if you need to line your paper up along that line so that you get it nice and straight, you can do that. Then you'll need your embossing machine. I am using the Big Shot, which Stampin' Up! Sold before. Now they sell Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which is a little bit different. So we're going to put our folder in, and then we need this special plate. And all we have to do is just run it through. I'm trying not to shake the table. Usually I do this on my little table on the side, but I wanted to show you once just so that you get the idea of how easy it is to give a little extra dimension to your paper. So then you just open it up and pull it out, and it is, I think it's a tiny bit crooked, but I am going to use it anyways. I don't mind. Okay, so this is for the front of our paper. And then we're going to use a piece of our beautiful gallery paper. So the one I want has some flowers on it for this card. It's right here. Okay, see how pretty that is? This paper is really beautiful. It's all watercolored images. There are some really, really pretty patterns in here. It makes making cards so easy when you have beautiful paper. So we're going to cut this in half at the 3 inches. It's 6x6 designer series paper. So we're going to cut it at 3 and again at 3. So we have 2 3-inch squares. And I think I slid that one just a little bit, so I just want to make sure the bottom of my square is even there, and it wasn't. I'm going to trim a little bit of that off. Okay, so now we have our 3x3 square. We've got our embossed piece for the front. We're going to cut a piece that's going to go just a little bit larger than this. So we need some Secret C cardstock. And since our paper is 3x3, we're going to cut this 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. Got a few things a little too close to my table today. All right, so that is going to sit like this. And then we need a circle to stamp on. So we're going to grab a piece of white, basic white cardstock, and our Stylish Shapes dies. If you don't have these, this is one of the dies I would really recommend. There are some fabulous shapes in here. So there's circles, squares, and some banner shapes. I use these all the time. So if you're looking for some great shapes to add to your cards, you can cut them out ahead of time. I have little stashes of white circles here and there around. And now we're going to use our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine to cut this out. I'm just going to do that over here on the side real quick. Ooh. It would help if I didn't toss it on the floor. I did. Okay, and when you are stamping, sometimes I will stamp right over my table, but I really like to have some kind of cushion in between my table and my paper. So you can use Stampin' Pierce mat. I lately have really liked this silicone mat. So it's just a little mat, but it's fairly flat, and I like that I can take it with me places and it doesn't really get in the way. All right, and then we are going to choose our sentiment, and this time we're going to use I know a good thing when I see it, and I see lots of good things in you. So we're going to put that on our block. And this is an acrylic block. It is block C. This is a good size for most of the sentiments in here. I tend to use block C and block D quite often. And we need our Secret C ink, which is over here. I haven't, I need to this week clean out my stamping room, my stamping corner. It's actually not a whole room. I wish it was, but it's not. And we're going to stamp on our circle. And I made my circle too big. It's one size too big. So I'm going to cut one more circle. Not that it's not wonderful, but it's a little too big for my card. It's going to cover up too much of my flower, and I don't want it to do that. So I'm going to size down one circle. I used the second circle in, and this time I'm using the third. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to stamp one more time on the right size circle. All right, Kim, I'll see you later. I'm glad you could join me at least for a little while. I hope your Bible study goes really well. Okay. Here is our sentiment, and I need to clean off my stamp real quick. I've got a little chamois over here. I have taken my chamois and cut it down into fours, and I put it in these little card holders so that I could take it with me. It's really handy. Okay, I'm gonna put my die away before I lose it. Okay, so now we can put our card together. This makes for a really quick and easy card. Okay, so we are going to add some glue, and I am using the green, what we affectionately call the green glue, right? Some people don't favor the green glue, but I do. We're just going to put a thin line around the edge. We're going to leave a little space for our finger because we're going to have to turn our paper. And then we're going to do a little squiggle in the middle. All right, so then we're going to turn that over and glue our designer series paper to our Secret Sea cardstock. I wiggled that a little bit and now I've got some glue at the corner, but it's going to be all right. I'm going to turn it and no one will ever know. Except you. You're going to know. All right, and then we're going to add some ribbon to our embossed piece, and our ribbon is somewhere here. Oh, right here. All right, and when I do this, I like to, instead of wrapping my ribbon all the way around, I like to lay it so that it's just longer than my piece, and trim the end. Now on each edge, I'm just going to put a mini glue dot, which I cannot see. I don't know where my mini glue dots are. Maybe they're all upstairs. I don't know. All right, I have some here from a paper pumpkin. This is not my favorite form of mini glue dot, but it will definitely do the trick. Okay, so we're just going to pick up one of these mini glue dots, and I'm going to put one on each end of this ribbon. Okay, and then we just peel off the back. They're double-sided, right? So they're sticky on both sides. We're going to peel off the back and set it down kind of in the middle of our card. And I'm not measuring. If you need to measure, you can. In the beginning, I measured everything. I don't as much anymore. Sometimes I'm just eyeballing it. All right, and then we're going to add another piece of ribbon that we're just going to tie around the first one. Like a little knot. Okay, and then we're going to trim our ends. They don't have to be perfectly even, but I like them to be sort of a little even, right? Okay, and then we can adjust our ribbon however we want it to be. Turn it over, and then we're going to glue this to the front of our card. Okay, so again, we've got our green glue. We're going to layer it along the sides, a little thin line, leaving room for our finger, and then a squiggle in the middle. Now remember, it will squiggle around a little, which is how I got a funny spot on my first one. So when you lay it down, you just want to be a little bit careful. Get it close to where you want it to be, and then you can kind of scoot it to where you want it to be for sure. All right, I'm going to set these little glue dots up here so they don't get lost too. Okay, we're going to take our piece of designer series paper that has its cardstock back. We're going to turn that over, and we're going to add some Stampin' Dimensionals to the corners. So we're going to do one on each corner. Okay, and then we can turn that over and add it to the front of our card. I'm kind of putting it a little bit towards the left. It's pretty much in the center, but a little bit to the left. And then we're going to add our sentiment right here. So when I turn it over, I'm going to make sure that I put my dimensional on this side. And then on this other side, I'm going to add one of these mini glue dots. Okay, and I'm just going to peel the back off of both of those. I've got my trash can in a spot that's not very easy to reach. I don't know about you, but I'm constantly rearranging my craft room so that things are easier to get to, or easier to see, easier to find, hopefully where I'll remember them. It doesn't always work that way. All right, so there is our first card. And on this first one, the one for my class, I used the low profile dots. Can you see those pretty gold dots on there? This is what they look like right now. They are on the last chance list. So if you want these low profile dots, you should order them right away, because these are fabulous dots to put on a card that you are going to send. They're nice and flat. They don't stick out. You probably won't have to pay extra postage for them. And chances are they're not going to poke through the envelope. Some of our embellishments will do that sometimes, but these low profile dots are wonderful for putting on a card you're going to send. That being said, on our cards tonight, we are going to use the low profile sparkle dots, which are similar as far as their low profileness. I don't know if that's a word or not, but they're really beautiful too. So we are going to take some of these low profile dots, and I'm just using my take your pick tool to add them. I'm going to put on 3 up here in the corner. Like that. And then I'm going to put 2 on my sentiment too. I really like all the sentiments in this set of stamps. Okay, so here is our first card. And I feel like that went really quick. We're just going to move right along to the next one. I already lost the lid for my take your pick tool. I know I just had it. Here it is, way over on the side. All right, there is our first card for tonight. And we're going to move right along to the second one. Now for our second card, I wanted to use this. I wish I had the right words for a time like this. I wanted to use that stamp. I don't always say the right thing. I don't know if you do or not, but it's hard sometimes. It's really hard. So what I want to do is make a card for those times when I need to say something, but I'm afraid I'm not going to say the right thing. And sometimes I've found when you feel that way, really you don't need to say anything. Sometimes someone just wants you to be there with them. All right, we've got basic beige here for our first color, and we're going to cut it at 5.5. And again, we're doing 5.5 by 8.5. And then we're going to score it at 4 1/4. And again, you do not have to score it. You can just fold it in half. I just like the way that score mark helps me fold it. Because otherwise, sometimes I fold crooked. Okay, so here is our card base. And then we're going to cut our piece of paper, our designer series paper, at 3 inches again. That's not right. That's not 3 inches. That was 3.5. All right. I meant to cut it at 3. Okay. So now I've got to cut at 3. 3 by, I want it to be 3 by 4, but I kind of want a lot of this little pot showing. So I'm going to cut off a little bit at the top. Maybe a 1/2 inch. And then I'll cut it at 4. There we go. Okay, so there is my 3 by 4. And then I'm going to take a piece of pecan pie cardstock. And I've got a scrap in here from something else. And I'm going to cut that 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So this is 3 1/4 and 4 1/4. Oh, I used the score blade instead of the cutting blade. That's not going to work. All right, and then we're going to add this on here, but first I want to take my scissors and kind of scruff up my edges because I want it to be a little bit kind of rustic looking. So I'm just gonna, this time I'm gonna scuff up each edge of the paper. Not a lot, I'm just kind of roughing it up a little. Okay, now I'm going to add this onto my piece of pecan pie. So I've got my green glue again. It's not actually called green glue. That's just what I call it because it's in a green container, and you'll hear a lot of people call it that. It's actually Tombow Mono Liquid Glue. So it works a little bit like what I would think Elmer's glue would work like, except it's a little, it's probably a little thicker and a little easier to work with, in my opinion. All right, we're going to turn this over, and I'm going to add that right on to there. Okay, and then we're going to need to measure out how big our sentiment is. And it's kind of just a small one this time. I wish I had the right words for a time like this. Okay, and what we are gonna do is we're gonna go back to our stylish shapes again, and I just want to see if I don't think our sentiment will fit inside there. So we're just going to cut a little piece of basic white, and I have some right over here that will work. And here is my silicone mat. I'm going to use that for my stamping. And I need some pecan pie ink. Now when you're stamping, you just want to, okay, my stamp is on my block, and you're just going to tap around gently on your ink pad. These ink pads, if you can see from the side, they're foam. They used to be felt, and felt ink pads are hard, and sometimes people would really press into them to get the ink to come out. These foam pads, you do not have to do that, and in fact you don't want to. You just want to press enough to get the ink to come out, because if you press too hard, your ink is going to go all up between the letters, and then when you stamp, you're not going to get a nice clear image. Unless that's the look you're going for, you just want to press gently. Gently but firmly. I don't know if that's helpful or not. Okay, and now we're just going to cut these words out, and I'm going to try and angle them a little bit just to make it a little more fun and complicated, right? I like to complicate things just a little bit. Okay. So there is our little sentiment, and what we're going to do is we're going to take our sponge dauber, and these little sponge daubers come in, I think they're in packs of 6, so I've gotten quite a few, as you can see, and I've used them a lot. I really like sponge daubers for all kinds of things, not just this. Okay, so we're going to get our pecan pie ink and our little sponge dauber and our sentiment, and we're just going to tap it in there, and then we're going to rub it along the edge. Now this doesn't make your card any fancier or anything, but I do feel like it gives it a little extra something, and sometimes you need that. It kind of maybe antiques it or gives it a little more color. Sometimes it helps the words blend in, and sometimes it helps them stand out. It just depends on the colors around it. Okay, now what we're going to do with this card is we're going to turn our designer series paper over, add some Stampin' dimensionals, and I'm actually going to put 5 on here this time because the middle is going to sink down if I don't, and it's not over top of a ribbon, so I don't have anything to go around in the middle there. Okay, we're going to put this. I think I like this side a little better. We're going to put that in the middle, and then behind our little piece of sentiment, we're going to add some ribbon. So what I'm going to do is put that right here on my Stampin' Pierce mat, and I'm going to use Stampin' Seal for this. I'm just going to run some Stampin' Seal along the back. Now, if you can see that, I'm going to try and show you. See how that's right there? I think you can see it. The little line of adhesive back there. And then we're going to take our ribbon and we're just going to kind of fold it along the back. We're zigzagging it. Okay. And then we're going to cut it right up here at the top. And then when we turn it over, we can add some Stampin' Dimensionals to the back. And we can put this right on the front. You can put it anywhere you want. I think I need to make my ribbons just a little bit shorter because I want mine on the edge. Okay, and I'm going to put my sentiment right there. And you can kind of scoot them around a little bit if you need to, your ribbons. But isn't that a really sweet, simple, pretty card? And now we can add some. I'm actually going to add these low profile dots because I really love, I really like these gold ones with this color. The pink would be pretty too, the petal pink. But remember, if you want these low profile dots, they are not going to be around. So make sure if you want them, you get them ordered. Okay, so there is our second card. And we've got one more coming up tonight. Okay. Probably should leave these little profile dots out, but I am planning on using the green ones for the next card. The green sparkle dots. They are so, so pretty. Okay. Now our last card. We are going to make a kind of a congratulations sort of card. I'll miss you card. I don't know which way you would want it to be, really. Okay, hold on. I need my sample card. Okay, this time we are going to cut our piece at 4 1/4. So it's going to be 4 1/4 by 11. And then we're going to score it at 5 1/2. So this card is going to open the other direction. So it's going to open kind of like a book. Okay. And then I really love this paper. It's so, so pretty. All right, we're going to cut this is Mossy Meadow, and we're going to cut that at 5 1/4. By 4. And you'll notice if you've been watching for a while, I use this size a lot. I haven't been doing videos for a little while. I've been a little absent, but I am back, and we're going to be doing a lot of videos coming up. Actually, let's do 5 by 3 3/4. Just to give that gray a little bit more room. Smoky slate, I should say. It's not just gray, it's smoky slate. All right. So now we've got that. And then we really want this scene here in the middle. So we're going to do 3 5/8 by 4, 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. It took me a minute to figure out those dimensions. Could you tell? All right, and this is going to go on here just like that. And then we need, I didn't clean off my stamp yet. We're going to clean off our stamp. And this time we're going to say, I really don't like that you're leaving, but I hope you love where you're going. And this one is a little bit bigger, so I'm thinking we should maybe put it up here in the corner. So let's I piled everything right on top of my silicone mat. All right, and we're going to stamp this in Mossy Meadow, which is right over here. All right, and I'm going to practice stamp this because Mossy Meadow is a pretty dark color, and I don't want to have any parts of it getting left out. All right, and I think that's exactly what would have happened. Okay. Not that we can't stamp again. We totally can. All right, and I'm going to stamp it right down here. Perfect. All right. And this time we are going to fussy cut our words. Okay, and I just want to show you a quick trick about this. If I can zoom in a little, let me see. Oh, that's not what I was trying to do. Okay. Well, I can't see how to zoom in, so I'm just going to show you. We're gonna fussy cut and see how it goes. So sometimes if you have trouble fussy cutting, it's best if you trace a little line around where you want to go before you start cutting. And then if you just follow that little line, it makes it a lot easier. All right, so we're gonna wing it this time and see how it goes. What you really want to do is keep your scissors pointing up and make sure that you turn your paper instead of your scissor hand. It's going to make your cuts smoother, and it really does make your cutting easier. I don't know the exact science behind it, but it does work. Okay, that's pretty good, right? I don't mind it. Okay, now we've got our little saying. You guys, this is going to be such an easy card. You're really going to like this. Okay, we're going to turn our paper over. This back side of this paper is really cool too. I really like both sides. Okay, we're going to add our liquid glue. We're going to do a thin line around the edge. We're going to leave a little space for our finger because we know we need to turn our paper, and do a squiggle down the middle. Hello, Tammy. Okay, and then we're going to line it up right in the center. Now we just left a tiny edge for, oh, it's just a piece of paper. No worries, just a little piece of paper. We only left just a tiny edge for this one. Okay. And then I really don't think this needs any it doesn't really need any ribbon or fancy stuff. It's just so pretty on its own. That's okay, Tammy. I'm just glad you're here. I'm glad to see you. Okay, we're going to add Stampin' Dimensionals on one behind each corner. And I like to put mine in just a little bit, not right on the edge. It's the Beautiful Gallery paper, Tammy. It's so pretty. I'll show you again in just a minute all the pieces. It makes cards so easy, so easy. All right, we're going to center this and just put it down. And then we have our sentiment that we fussy cut, right? And we're going to put it up here in the corner. And I'm actually, yeah, I'm going to pop that one up just a little bit too. So we've kind of run out of our dimensionals on this sheet. If you ever run out, all you have to do is just trim these little edges, and that gives you a bunch more that you can use. I've seen people throw away these whole edges, and I feel like that's crazy. Don't throw away the edges, my friends. You can use them. You can use the whole thing. Okay, now I've got some on there. I keep forgetting that I moved my trash can. And we're just going to put this up here in the top corner. So now it says, I really don't like that you're leaving, but I hope you love where you're going. And I just thought that was perfect for this little scene where There's like a little boat traveling. There's a cute little house in the distance. Some little other little houses. Well, maybe that's a big house. I don't know. But in the distance, there's a lot of houses. And then we can add some of these really pretty low profile sparkle dots. I have really fallen in love with the low profile dots of every sort. So there's the gold and petal pink ones that are on the last chance list. So if you don't have any of those, they're so pretty, and you might want to order them before they're gone. Okay, let's add some of these Mossy Meadow sparkle dots. I thought about adding some more of the blue ones too. I wonder if I should have two colors of sparkle dots. Hold on. Let's do it. We'll just put some, let's see, 1, 2. I'm trying to figure out where they should go. Maybe up here, right? Maybe one up there and one down here. Okay, look at those sparkle dots. Aren't they pretty? Can you see them? All right, so those are our cards for tonight. Let me show you again what we used. So first was this beautiful gallery paper, okay? And I'm just going to show you a couple pieces. So they're just really pretty. And both sides are pretty. You can use either side for so many things. The paper is just so beautiful. See how pretty it is? There's a lot of really pretty pieces. The back sides are pretty. The front is pretty. This is a really pretty pattern too. I really like it. I got several packs near the beginning of when it came out, and I didn't really forget about it, but I didn't have a chance to use it because I wasn't crafting as much as normal. Okay, and then here are our cards for tonight. So this is the last one. And then we made this one, right? I wish I had the right words for a time like this. I think that one turned out really pretty too. And then the first one was this cloud cover one. I know a good thing when I see it, and I see lots of good things in you. So the stamp set that we use tonight is called The Right Words. If you are looking for some good words for cards, this has a lot of things in it. It does also have a happy birthday that fits really well on a banner size shape, and it has a thinking of you that's really nice too. So that's a great stamp set. We used some of these low profile dots. There's gold and petal pink. Want those, you really should order them. You never know how long they're gonna last on there. And then we also use these low profile sparkle dots. I didn't use this yellow one, but I feel like it looks like sunshine, so I definitely need to. And we also used some ribbon. Where did the ribbon go? I know it was right here. It is, I don't know where it went. I should be able to see it on my desk. Oh, I see it. Yeah, I buried it under something else. It is gold striped ribbon. So this is it's so pretty, and it's easy to tie. It's easy to tie knots or bows. It's really pretty, and it kind of goes with everything. So that is a great one. And again, if you are on my email list, I'll be sending out the directions for this week. If you want to order, place an order and get the class. The instructions are in there for that too. I will see you again soon. Coming up in October, there is my monthly card class is on Friday the 17th. And the Saturday Kit Together is actually on Saturday the 18th. So there's a lot going on. And Tuesday night, I don't know if I can do it this Tuesday, but on Tuesday nights, I'm going to start having Zoom stamping. So if you want to join me for that, that would be fun. We're only going to try to get together for about 40 minutes and stamp and maybe chat and catch up and see what's going on. So until I see you again, happy stamping.